Alright, welcome back to another episode of Game Crafters, where we're doing the same thing that we've always been doing for the past who knows how many episodes. Building grid spaces for the third zone. Because I have very much on my plate, and I can't get enough time. I only finished 3 character outlines today for the next drawing that I'm doing. It's a pretty big drawing. So yeah, I'm doing good. How about you? I went far out. Anyways, yep, we're here. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Man, I really wish that I could get more time. I just don't have enough of the damn thing. You know? Just not enough time in general. I like to think, surely I can get enough time this time around. Turns out it wasn't enough to get enough time. I gotta get more time to make more time, and it definitely doesn't help having all the complex drawings occurring on the final freaking month. That's for certain. I definitely didn't plan that out as good as I could have, but what else could I have done? There's only so much one can do before, get to a point where it's just no, that's not what I wanted. You get to a point where it's just a little bit of a challenge trying to keep up with things. I'm hoping that the next, it's going to be simple. Okay, I'm going to have to probably, I think I've already said it before, so at this point it's no secret. There is going to be a Chrome Wars series. I have made the map for it already. It's a pretty big map, too. It's got a lot of bases that I have already drawn from long ago on it. So that's neat. Oh, wait, no, this needs to be a 3. That's going to be fun, building that series out. Though I feel like I'm going to have to, reread some instances about certain zones and certain, motives and whatnot. But I feel like I vaguely remember most of their motives for doing whatever it is that they are doing throughout the entire course of the war. Yeah, it's very topical with all the things happening in today's day and age. But hey, this was a series I made long ago, and I have been wanting to make it into an actual episodic series. Who would have thought we would have so many wars happening in this day and age? You would have figured that it just would stop happening at some point, but it just keeps happening. But to not continue talking about depressing stuff again for the upteenth time in Game Crafters, yes, I'm going to have to hold off on making the cover for Chrome Wars until after maybe it's either May or Julune. June is what I wanted to say, but my brain was trying to go to July, even though July is when the series starts. So I just made a new month called Julune. Yes, folks, what do you think? Will you want the 13th month to be Julune? It's so goddamn perfect. I didn't mean... I'm tired, and I don't know why I'm tired, because it's 3:30 and I got at least 7 hours of sleep, and that's more than what I usually get. And my tired ass somehow came up with Julune. I'm writing that down in the simple memo, the one that's not riddled with ads now. Julune? How the fuck would you spell Julune? I mean, I guess if you're trying to spell July, it would be J-U-L. And then the loon would be U-N-E. So J-U-L-U-N-E. Yes, Julune. I'm going to keep that there and remind me to make that today's episode's name. Nobody's going to understand it. It's literally just going to be Julune. They're going to look at that and be like, what the hell does that mean? Maybe it'll get them to click on the video. And just fit, because it's so early. 4 minutes, not even 4 minutes, because I think I was around a minute of me just gushing over Julune. But hey, if you need a 13th month name, Julune's a pretty strong candidate. So, yeah, there's that. I'm glad we figured out a name for the potential 13th month. You know, that debate of if we had 13th months there, like all the months would pretty much be the same. Like, would that be the case? Hold on, I'm going to get my calculator. 365 divided by 13. Or is it 364 divided by 13? Yeah, 28. I guess if we wanted to still have the leap year, February can still have its 20. Wait, I need to go back to my simple memo so I know Julune. Yeah, I guess in that instance, if you wanted to still have the leap year and whatnot, February can still have the leap year. The thing is, what would a 13-month calendar even look like? That's a good question. Now, let's talk about that instead. That's way more fun and debatable than the shit that is known as real life. Sure, let's go on ahead and talk about what the 13th month calendar would look like with Julune in the middle of June and July. I guess at that point you gotta kind of question, well, you have Julune, but what about Janebuary, Febarch, or Marprol? Sounds like a corporal. I don't know. Julune just kind of feels right. It feels like it belongs. I mean, Janebuary is kind of close. It's a close second. But I think Julune is what takes the cake here. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like Julune? Or do you like Janebuary? I don't even know if I said the exact thing. At least Julune sounds about right, but I feel like Janebuary should. I feel like Janebuary shouldn't really be that complex of a thing to remember and then subsequently forget. Yeah, no, like Julune. We're sticking with Julune. I'm curious what the hell the other. Like, it makes sense being like close together, but what other month combinations would be funny? October? No. Jalober? Doesn't make sense. Jalober. Decembarch. No, that's not what I want. Auguary. I feel like that's already a word, even though it's not actually a word. It feels like a word that already exists. I don't know what word it is I'm thinking. Try to figure out what word this madman is trying to come up with. Boom, 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 boom. Your time, by the way. Boom, boom, boom. Think of the fucking word, or I'm going to kill your parents and children. Boom. We went needlessly dark on the episode known as Julune. I already forgot Julune. Oh my god. How could I forget Julune? Oh, what has happened? What has happened to me? My memory. How could I forever possibly forget about the magical, mythical month of Julune? I feel like a loon for forgetting Julune. An eyelash or a hair in my eye. I'm gonna need a lashing after this. Something about whip and wax is what Duke Nukem once said before in a game called Duke Nukem 3D? Wait, is that what that was? No, it was like a 2.5D shooter of Duke Nukem. Why? How did you... The cat freaking contracted fuzz somewhere. How did you do that? What are you doing? What are you looking at? You want to live in the month of Julune? We're in April right now. All we gotta do is wait for May, then June, and then we'll have reached the mythical 13th month known as Julune. What do you think about that, cat? You're just gonna look at me? Stare, not even make a meow? Cat doesn't appreciate Julune. Why don't you like Julune? Also, where is this again? Right. I guess we could just do this. Never mind. I need this to be even. Alright. Yeah, we still haven't figured out, like, what the month, or what the calendar would look like if there was 13 months. Because we have, like, a really nice looking calendar. Succinct and has a simple setting for the most part. Like, yeah, at the end of the third month, a new season begins. Although nowadays, it really doesn't feel like the seasons are being accurate to what they're supposed to be. I mean, definitely April feels like, oh god, no, damn it, why? You, no, why? Yes, that's the redo. Yeah, how would that work? And I feel like the seasons would definitely be a little bit trickier to align. Like, okay, hold on. The first seasons usually begin on the 21st, right? Is that how it usually goes? The 21st. We have a calendar over here. Get out of my fucking face. I don't know why the hell that's always there. Let me see here. January. So let me just take off some of the days here, if it's always like that. Like 1, 2, 3. 3 days taken off. That one's already perfect. Spring would begin here. So 1, 2, 3. You take these 3 days off, though, but then you're left up with this much here. But spring would technically start here, unless we had spring officially start in the next color. Yeah, but that's the thing. There's no way to actually fully... Wait, hold on. There's no way to actually fully get, like, seasons every 3 months if you have, what do you call it? Well, actually, let's do some math in that department, right? Because, like, okay, what? If this 31 plus 28 is 59. And with the 21 there, since, you know, that is technically when spring starts, I think. I believe. I should look that up real quick. When does spring start? Which falls, okay, so 19, 20, 21. I guess, okay, well, we'll just use 21 because our 31 plus the 28, which is 59, then becomes a simple 6, 7, 80. So a solid 80. Although 80 times 300, no, that wouldn't really work out too well, now would it? But also, let's not forget some of the days are like different here. We have 364 days on normal, but 365 on like a leap year, I believe, right? Oop. I think I'm pretty much done with this particular node. So I don't know, I want this to be 6. I said 6. And that's the thing when it comes to changing a calendar. You literally need to just go through and just refigure out what most of these are supposed to look like. Okay, yeah, with the way this is set up, we know that this starts to curve here, so that's easy enough. So a lot pretty much still goes into trying to figure out what the calendar would look like alongside what the seasonal starting points would be or where they would be and all that stuff. That kind of stuff. Okay, I think just for the sake of simplicity, I will do this for this. It doesn't exactly matter too much here, at least. Okay, no, I don't want to go here. So with that in mind, I wouldn't really be able to do this without some visual representation of what the hell we're supposed to be looking at here. First of all, you gotta figure out what a calendar that has 13 months would even look like. There's no satisfying, divisible procedure that allows you to have that in a satisfying manner. What do we need? I don't know. I'm not entirely too sure. "13 does not divide into 4 different season instances for obvious reasons. I also do not want that. Although I guess I also don't want that either, or that. So, man, this is tricky. Let me keep this slow. I don't know. The discussions about this stuff has arisen for most people in general, so there's no reason for us to discuss about it, right? There really isn't. There really is no need for us to discuss about it. Or maybe you do, and if you do, well, you have the floor. I would pick up the floor and give it to you, but it's pretty bolted in to this here place. So, yeah. Anyways, Julune. The whole reason we were trying to figure this out was because we want to incorporate Julune. How would we even incorporate Julune to begin with? Well, first of all, we know that it's at least 90 days going into... No, because when... Winter starts on the 21st, right? If everything pretty much starts on the 21st, then that would mean that 90... Well, excluding, I guess, the one on the 21st of March, because that would technically mean... We'll reduce that later. So we got 80, right? Because 31 to 28 is 59, and 2 to 79 at 80. So that would mean 81, or if we wanted to like have that count as the 80 instead, then 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. So close to 90. It would have been satisfying if it was that, but it was not that, and I am saddened. I don't know what to do here. I guess it doesn't exactly matter that much. Maybe a little bit more of this. Oops. It's less about making a season, figuring out where the seasons go. I mean, I guess we do kind of need to figure out where the seasons go. But even then, one season would have to be longer. Unless... This is a trick. Unless we somehow divide... We go against math and somehow divide 13 into a whole number of 4. But I don't think we can do that. Not unless we use Terry's math. And his math sucks, unfortunately. So, we can't use that. I mean, although I'm sure you can use that, it's just not going to make sense visually. No, I think what you would need to do to be able to make that make sense is somehow figure out 4th dimensional math. You know how we have, like, dimensions and whatnot, being in terms of the fact that we're in 3-dimensional right now. 2-dimensional is basically a flat surface. And here's one thing I've been like thinking about a lot on like occasions, just due to the particular sequence of stories that I am leading into making at some point, involving like fourth dimensional beings or fourth dimensional travel and whatnot. And the way I see dimensions is simply this: you got one-dimensional travel, or one-dimensional plane, I guess is easier instead of just saying travel. A one-dimensional plane essentially is just one axis, so it's just going here, here, and here. Doesn't go up and doesn't go down. Any beings living in the one dimension somehow getting the feed of this thing and can contact us through the comment sections, you are free to try. If we can't somehow contact or interact with the fourth dimension, I can't imagine any one-dimensional beings are capable of doing the same thing to third-dimensional. To them, they can't think of anything other than left or right. I don't even know what kind of existence that would be. Then, of course, you got two-dimensional beings. That's obviously left, right, up and down, or forward and back, or maybe it is just up and down and forward back is ours, but I don't exactly know. Obviously, in that department, so like one-dimensional can only see no dimension. So I guess any one-dimensional beings are kind of blind in that sense, because they don't see anything. If you only have one flat space there, you can only sense movements going left and right. It would be pretty cramped in the one-dimensional space, because you would try to move to the left and you'll eventually run into something, or someone. None of you will know what it is because you can't see it, but you can at least sense it. Then you try to go right. Can't go anywhere in that direction. Oh, what the fuck? Where do I go? Can't move anywhere. What do I do in this one-dimensional space? I can't see. I don't have a body that I can perceive. And I'm just sitting here. Existing. It seems like a very terrible existence. Now imagine if a three-dimensional being were to somehow manage to get into a one-dimensional space. It would be just as bad as a three-dimensional being going to a fourth-dimensional place. Same thing with two-dimensional. That's the thing that's a bit terrifying to think. You think, oh, going up one dimension is scary because we can't perceive it. Bitch, we also can't perceive one dimension. I mean, I guess in our instance, it would just be pitch black nothingness, while we can only move what we at least can somehow feel as our body in 1 to 2 directions. I guess technically one direction. It would only be 2 directions, actually. And one axis. Axe something. Axe body spray. Sure, let's go with that. You can only move in one axe body spray. And that's not a lot of space, because technically, if somebody's to the left of you and then to the right of you, unless they move their ass, you can't go anywhere. And even then, you don't know what to do at this point, because you literally just exist. You don't have anything to watch. You don't have anything to interact with except for the things to the left and right of you. You can't see shit. It's dark. It's probably damp, dry, whatever space it is that is in that particular plane. It is terrible. At least with the fourth dimension, we have at least some perception of third dimension. We just got to figure out what the fourth dimension is, and if we could do that, then maybe we can be fine enough to traverse that, but there would still be a huge leap. Even if we do have any perception of the first dimension, it would be a terrible existence for somebody like us, who has all of these things that we can interact with in the three-dimensional space. Now, two-dimensional is even more so, I guess, interesting. The question is, how would we perceive that? Because the way I see it, two-dimensional beings can only see one-dimensional space, but they can move up, down, left, and right. Meaning there is no jumping. You can only really move wait. My brain just momentarily forgot how How to D? It's not G, it's D. Jesus Christ. Trying to go into two-dimensional talking has made me forget the D is the duplicate, not G. But yeah, two-dimensional beings would only see a one-dimensional space. So they look around them, all they would see is flat. Everything is flat. I don't think they would be able to see or perceive anything. I don't think they would have a top-down view. I don't think a top-down view is even something that is possible to have in a two-dimensional perspective, because you would only see one dimension. Scary stuff, right? Well, now you can move up, down, left, and right. You can feel around, but you still can't see unless, you know, the one-dimensional, because it's just like a line, right? It's not like a line with like an image going up here, because that would be three-dimensional. Two-dimensional, you would only see a line. You'll see an opening in the space, go through it. You see a thing here. Mother, father, what are you? Oh, demon, shit, I wish I knew what I was seeing. And then it just kills you, because you can only see it as a flat thing. Though I imagine just the same as how the first-dimensional beings can like perceive things near them, the two-dimensional beings can at least perceive what they are looking in front of via, I don't know, how the shape of it looks, if it's big, if it's small, stuff like that. Two-dimensional space is another thing we probably would not be able to perceive, because it's just flat lines. We wouldn't know what the fuck flat lines goes to what. And even if we did know, there would be no easy way for us to get used to it, because again, you're still not really be able to see much. Just a black line. And it's not even just a black line, it's just like, hey, dark space. Or, okay, like a good example of this, if I could use this as an example. Wall. Oh, wait, I see. Wait, no, closer. No, not closer. Wall, space. Pretend that this is black up here. Actually, better idea. There we go. Here we go. Ooh, oh, there's the opening. If this was pitch black, it would be more... Whatever. You get what I mean. That's how I imagine that the two-dimensional space would be perceived. Now, obviously, you don't need me explaining you what three-dimensional space is. We are currently living it. You see your hand here. Left, right, up, down, back. Fucking whatever the hell that thing is. I don't even remember what it's called. My brain instinctually calls it the Cartholomew or whatever the fuck the thing was. The dancing, walking, rearranging furniture. Babs is shopping. I'll let the bird out of the cage. Anyways, yes, the point of the matter is we already know what three-dimensional space is. The thing with dimensions is everything is kind of like moving via directions and whatnot. So we can at least perceive and guesstimate what the second and first dimension would look in terms of like, well, you know, the general understanding of those particular dimensions. I guess our eyes see everything in a two-dimensional space, right? Like, we can perceive things as somewhat three-dimensional just due to the fact that we have depth perception. Like, right here. I guess... You can see in my perspective, I can see the shadows, but I think you guys could probably still see the shadows as well. Probably, like, maybe if I... Yeah, right here. If you look at there's probably a shadow there, but I got two lights shining on me, so it's not really a good way to tell. Also, I could probably just look at this and see. Yeah, no, that didn't help at all. There's two bright lights on me. Although I could probably just turn one of these off and just show you. That is very dark. Look. 2-dimensional can be perceived 3-dimensional because light here, shadow here. It's going to be bright. No, it's not as bright as I thought it was going to be. Though I guess in our minds we can't perceive. Yeah, like I said, we can't perceive what living in 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional space would be like. Like I said, we guesstimate that living in a 2-dimensional space, we can only see a flat, not even a flat line. We'd probably at least see some kind of colors in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, 2-dimensional would be perceived as 1-dimensional, essentially. So 1-dimensional is perceived as 0, 2 is perceived as 1, and 3 is perceived as 4. Or 2, not 4. Could you imagine, though, if 3-dimensional beings perceived the world in 4 dimensions? I don't know what the hell that would look like. That would be very much... That's what I would imagine if a 3-dimensional being went into a 4th-dimensional area, and now the only thing they can see when they're back in their 3-dimensional space is 4 dimensions. I guess that's probably what Eldritch Madness is. Maybe. I don't know. This is a 9, I believe. So obviously with that particular concept in mind, 4th dimension, any 4th dimensional beings out there who could probably perceive... I imagine they can at least maybe see that? No, it's dimensions. It's not like it's planes of existence. It's its own dimension with its own set of laws and rules. It's not like we're able to perceive a 2-dimensional space within our 3-dimensional region. We can kind of create that via games that are like top-down and whatnot, but we wouldn't really be able to interact with them in the same format as a 4-dimensional being interacting with us in this dimension. No, that's not how that works, though. I guess the point here is that 4-dimension being able to see in 3 dimensions, we don't know what that perception is. That's a step above us. And I would imagine... Oh, wait, no, this is definitely odd. I would imagine that the same thing applies to the 2-dimensional beings and the 1-dimensional beings. They can't perceive, or at least the 1-dimensional being can't perceive what 2 dimensions looks like. It probably can't even perceive the dimension that it's in. It probably doesn't even have a brain at that point. Like, yeah, it's a flat line going back and forth that they can only see in nothingness. It can't see in anything. That sees complete, utter nothingness. I imagine that's probably what the entire universe was once like, and then somehow we bursted into a 3-dimensional plane, and then boom, life was born. Maybe that's what the Big Bang Theory was. No clue. It's funny to think that the entirety of life and the universe still has so many mysteries that humanity is just not capable of solving at this point in time. Funny, and also somewhat terrifying at the same time. But is the truth better than living in ignorance? Is it best to just not want to have that knowledge? And even then, what the hell will that knowledge even do for me at this particular point in time? I imagine some people probably don't even want to have the knowledge of what's to look forward to in the afterlife, if there even is anything at all. Having that knowledge, or at least the knowledge knowing that... Okay, there's 2 different things here. If you're given that knowledge, and the basics here is... It is exactly what you want. Like, there is a heaven, or some place that is close to heaven, that we can be like, all right, yeah, I can get down by, I can get behind that, sure. That also has like the same kind of moral system that we do in some kind of way. I mean, morals is... I wouldn't say morals is subjective. like there's opinions in certain matters and whatnot. Ask the morals of a serial killer, he'll be like, yes, I want to kill, and I do believe that it is good to kill. Ask the moral of a radical Puritan Christian, they're like, ban porn, don't masturbate, fear God, you'll go to hell if you don't do this exact thing. Yabba dabba dabba. We don't believe that or something because stuff. Yes, stuff. Roll with it. I don't know. Moral-wise, honestly, I believe things in moderations. Anything can be an addiction if you overindulge in it. Let it consume your life. I imagine those who constantly try to scorn porn were just pure addicts now trying to superimpose their, I guess, old bad quote-unquote self because they couldn't control themselves. Masturbating twice a day instead of once every week. Sometimes none, sometimes twice, depending on the mood, really. But they just kept on doing it, and doing it, letting it consume their family. Which makes no sense. Unless they kept doing it until, they created a giant pile of semen that then started to become sentient, almost like the Blob to some extent. So now the entire family that they once had is now consumed by the cum monster, and everything is just bad. And that's why they're trying to prevent people from doing that. Not because of their own, hatred of themselves, but because they're trying to prevent more cum monsters from coming into existence. Yes, it's a thing. Read the Bible. Yes, folks, that's a thing we gotta worry about now. I have dost willed it into existence. Quell yourself, lest you create a semen, a Mastaboris semenis, or whatever the fuck Greek name it would probably have. God, could you imagine the people of olden days who didn't really, for some reason, have an understanding of semen, and then to just see some olden man's jerkling pile just out there in the woods, coagulated and turned to a blob. What the fuck has this episode come into play? This has become a Wade episode with the amount of off the hook, off the rails innuendos, and it's not even innuendos, it's straight up just, we're to the point. We're not even making witty jokes. We're literally creating cum monsters. Come on, man. I felt physical repulsion from making that sorry attempt of a pun. It wasn't even a pun. I guess it is technically a pun because cum is C-O-M-E, while cum is C-U-M. Where's your day? So easy. Yes. I'm gonna just stop right there and go back. What the fuck were we talking? 3-dimensional beings, right? We're talking about 4-dimensional beings. That's what we were talking about. We're talking about Julune, the 4th dimension and the ones before us, and then cum monsters. This has been quite an episode. These are the kind of episodes I strive to make for game crafters, because at the very least you just have these out of pocket, out of contextable scenes, all within an episode named Julune. I mean, this is what you expect from an episode called Julune. That's right, this is what you get in Julune. If you make the 13th if you make the 13th month Julune, you can expect 4-dimensional beings and cum monsters knocking at your door. I don't make the rules. So vote Julune to be the 13th month. Make it not mythical anymore. Turn it into the month that has a right to exist. Every month has a right to exist, and Julune is no different. Don't be not afraid of what Julune can do for you and to you. I was going to say that first, and I didn't want to lead that with come monsters and fourth dimensional beings, because there probably are fourth dimensional beings that are. Oh, I just had the thought process. What would happen? Okay, going off of the assumption that we can interact with each other via fourth dimension, second dimension, first dimension. What the fuck would happen if a fourth dimensional being just, completely orgasmatized all over a space that somehow was able to interact with the third dimension? At that point, it would create a cum monster. Yes. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I don't know. Somebody get Lord Minion 77 on the phone and get him to debate what would happen if a fourth dimension. That would be so out of pocket to just tell him outright. What would you think would happen if a fourth dimensional being came and it somehow interacted with the third dimension, i.e. the place where we live? I guess that would explain where floods come from, though. I mean, it does have a fishy smell. God. I just need to stop. I need to stop. I've been watching too much Wade. It's just... There needs to be a stop, but I chose not to stop. I chose this. I didn't choose Julune. Julune kind of just came to me in a dream. A fever dream that I haven't woken up from yet, apparently. Yes, this is a fever dream, and I definitely do feel hot right now. Not in that way. Don't get any ideas, fourth dimensional beings. Oh, please don't. Oh no, don't do that. We don't need any of that. Oh God, no. Please, refrain. Cease, desist. I might sound like I'm trying to tease them into wanting to do it, but trust me, I don't. Nobody wants that. Oh God. Jeez, how much time is left? There's 17 minutes left. How is there still 17 minutes left? Apparently talking about Julune, the fourth dimensional beings, and their literal semen made it so time would go by slower. How? You would think that all of this would make time go by faster. I was hoping that it would end soon. God, I'm going to struggle trying to sleep tonight. Not in that way. No, don't think. Don't think about that. Although I guess for most people, they would kind of be drained in a sense because, I don't get that, but don't think about it anyways. But now you're thinking about it. It's too late. The damage is done. I don't even know what the fuck I was planning on doing with this. I mean, I guess to some extent it doesn't exactly matter what this looks like. Right? Yeah, it's like this is the board, dude. How the fuck? I got black stuff on me. Is this the fourth dimensional cum that I've been talking about? Oh, fuck me. No, don't. I just shut up right now. No, I don't want to go there. I wanted to minimize that. Yes, I'm already making up new words in the form of months. I might as well just say to minimize and make another new word. Oh, God, it's not all over the place, but it's in one specific spot. I guess we got our answer. Yes, we got our answer. I'm glad we don't have to bring this to Lord Minion 77, even though it would be hilarious. We got our answer. It's black. The answer wasn't what color it was. The answer was what would happen, and we got that answer too. Everything's recording, right? Okay, good. This is cemented into the next episode because I don't feel like having to record another hour. So yes, perfect, great. The Julune episode, folks. You didn't know what you were expecting going into an episode named Julune, but sometimes come is exactly what you're gonna get. I don't know what the hell I was trying to reference there. Something about the 15-foot lettuce burger made of. My brain was bouncing between two words. Take a guess what those words are. And yes, one of them is correct. And yes, the other one is correct too. I'm not going to say any more now. We've already said our piece. Well, now where do we go from Julune? I kind of don't want to talk about fourth dimensional beings anymore. And afraid of them, doing the thing which is thankfully not there anymore, but the residue is still there, obviously. God, Jesus fucking. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Let's see. At the very least, we have some entertaining episode here. Usually it's just me being tired as hell. I was tired. Now I'm amped up. And not because of fourth dimensional coom. No. I shouldn't be saying any more, and yet here I am, still saying more. See more. I don't want to see more either. I want it to end right here, right now, maybe. Yes, sure, yes. The answer we're looking for is yes. Not maybe, yes. My head hurts, Hank. I was gonna match your ass when I'm done kicking it. Alright, Hank, understandable. Oh. God, I was gonna make Hank say something he shouldn't be saying. Good thing I stopped myself. I'm sure you already know. I don't need to explain myself. You already know what the hell Julune has in store for ye. There is no need for me to explain myself. I forgot to delete this block. I didn't, I just fucked up again, because, fuck me. Don't. Why do I keep saying that? They're gonna do it again. And it's probably gonna be worse. Alright, let's grab all these. How much time is left? 12 minutes. Alright, time is going by a little bit quick. Wait. Time is going by a little bit quicker now. Not as quick as it could be going, but it's going. Oh yes, it's going. Luckily I already got all of my food made, so I don't have to worry about that. Just gotta post this. And boom. Ready to go to sleep. Hope you don't have dreams of fourth dimensional beings unloading onto you. That's right, I'm still going. I don't know what you expect. You never know what you don't know what to expect when it comes to these types of conversational topics. Yeah. Anyways, 13. I don't know if I plan on doing any more with this little space here. I don't know. Cat's looking outside and swishing her tail. I can only imagine that there is a cat. Or we're about to hear a boom because the guy with a very loud car motor decides to start it. I don't exactly know what you have to do to your car to make it just have the loudest start possible. I'm not sure. Well, you're looking at it, so yeah. Oh yeah, this was recorded after, what do you call it? It's literally, yeah. So, back problem, it's slowly trying to go away. The strain that I had threw my back out Saturday. It's slowly starting to go away, very least, which is good. I don't know what I did to it because when I read Google, it says like it takes a couple to a few weeks to heal up a thrown out back. So I don't know what I did to mine. It's still stiff. I guess it's not fully healed yet. But yeah, it's still stiff. But it's not really hurting anymore, which is great. It only really hurts if I'm like, standing around doing too much. And since most of my job is that and the freaking, is what we're doing most of the time. Okay, right, so that's going here. So remember, this is continuing off of here. Where is this going? Okay, so it's going up. I don't know how far up, but we'll figure that out. Also, yeah, no, hold up. Cease and desist. Desist and deceased. Okay, well, I guess this would actually be a good opportunity to do this and have it like be 5 and then have this one be 2 at a 0.5. Oh, I hope that this is definitely not, well, this one's definitely needs to be, right? Yeah. Yes, and no, you bitch. Oh, you. Well, I know these are going to be odds, so boop. And boop. 5. I was wrong. This isn't odd. This is even. Where is you? There is you. Okay, good. We at least have that figured out. No, wrong. 15. Perfect. I think this will probably be the last grid space we work on, no matter what the time is. Just primarily because I don't want to stay up too late. I want to at least try to keep the time frame of sleep being 7 hours, especially if I'm still trying to heal my back. Obviously. And besides, I've ran out of topics. And I also don't want to go back into talking about fourth dimensional beings because it might be, happening again. And trust me when I say you don't want it to be happening. Oh no, you don't. Ugh. Okay. No, I do kind of want this to be here, but I need you to be reduced to 5. Yeah. Well, maybe not 5, maybe 1 for now, so that I can bring this out-ish. No, 2. 2 would make the most sense, but if that's the case, I need to bring you up, make you like a 5. Make you like a 7. Kind of bring that out. Figure out where the center is. It's right here, so we're still good. Make that an 11. And boom. Don't know why I'm singing Time Splitters 2 theme song, but I am. Not singing it. You know what I mean. We've reached that point now where we're just making noises to kind of mimic a song. Which is weird because I like Time Splitters 3 a lot more than 2. But I also really like 2's theme song a lot more than Future Perfect's. Just the way it sounds, the way it feels. Like, Future Perfect's still pretty good, it's just not as good as 2's theme song. And I kind of wish that Future Perfect, I guess technically modern gun style was brought amongst the first and second game. Though I don't think the first game needed as much, unless it's like the sniper, in which case, Jesus Christ, how the hell did we aim any of that shit in the olden days? Like, my God, it's just terrible trying to aim with that system. It's like to a point where you kind of have to fire from the hip, because otherwise you're just going to struggle. Like, they have an aim assist thing there that kind of just like, at least in one, you just aim in the direction you want to look at, and it basically just shoots at the thing. Usually never matters where they are on the screen, but even if it does, it's like not that big of a deal, because just look at them in the center, and 9 times out of 10, you're shooting them. Still, though, it's I prefer Future Perfects more. And you can still kind of do that with Future Perfect, just like fire from the hip. I mean, I guess there are some scopes, but I feel like firing from the hip in those particular types of games is a lot better than trying to use whatever scope you have. Though, granted, it's not like those kinds of games where you could just run and gun, like Painkiller, for example. Although Painkillers only had a moment where you really have to take cover because of the World War II level, which I'm still a firm believer that that should have been like the second to last level. Just like screw the theme of trying to like go through hell to reach what's his name? Alistair, that son of a bitch. Which I'm really hoping that the Alistair fight in Battle Out of Hell isn't just going to be the same rehash of his fight in the OG campaign. And for obvious reasons, too, because that one was a pain in the ass. Just primarily due to the way it's set up. You kind of got to use tarot cards, and if you don't use tarot cards, you kind of got to try to figure out the general, like, positioning of where the tower is going to fall. So then you can go on ahead and use that to do a thing. Okay, so this one's going to go up by 1. And it looks like it goes up by another one here. So 1 elevation up here and 1 elevation up here. This would be simple enough, right? I could, I could just do this and I get my answer. Never mind. This is actually here. Okay, well, what about here then? And I don't know what about here. I know this is 1 up. I can see it with my freaking eyes. There, yeah, look, we see. We see now. Also, I don't think... I only got like 2 minutes left anyways, so I might as well use this time to adjust. I don't think this was supposed to look like this. I think this was supposed to be like 1... Doesn't matter the size here. I'll make it this. Yeah, and then this can be like 1, 1, 1. Oh, boy. Yeah, and that could be whatever it needs to be. Hey, but look, we made some progress. A lot more progress than I was expecting. What we did... Holy shit! 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. It's been a while since we've been able to do 8, but I guess the landscapes we were working on weren't too dreadful. There's, of course, still the decorations, but that's the kind of stuff we worry about after the main area is taken care of. I should try to figure out where I want to have some... Because I do want this area here to be a little bit more flatter. But I do want to have some mountains around the place, outside of areas that we know aren't going to have mountains. Well, anyways, that seems to be all the time I have for this episode of Julune. Yes. So, yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching today's episode. You've got a lot to think about. You got a lot of things for your homework. Go on ahead, get your pen and paper, or pencil and paper, or whatever the hell you use nowadays. And, yeah. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like, subscribe for more, check out that there playlist. I don't know why the hell that's flashing a bunch. I guess because I'm talking and... No, it's still flashing. I don't know why that's doing that. whatever. And, of course, previous episode of Gamecraft is right over here, and our most recent episode of Raft ROTC Edition right over here. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Not in Julune, but next week. Later.